In some situations, I tend to react out of fear. Like some things just really freak me out. And other times, I have faith that everything will work out. And in even other situations, I need the facts. Tell me what's going on. Why is this happening? How can we fix it? What are the stats? Well, what happens whenever all three of those scenarios come together in a whirlwind of unexpected circumstances? Well, you can find out with me right here in Luke chapter 8, starting around verse 26. Jesus heals a demon possessed man. Talk about something that might be a little freaky or scary. It actually terrified the people. We see it here in the passage that the people who saw it happen were terrified. They were like begging Jesus to hit the road. But what ended up happening for that individual man who was healed is that moment of life change with Jesus gave him a message that could transform, that Jesus could not only transform his life, but that Jesus had transformational power. And he told that story to others. Now, as Jesus is leaving this scenario, he's approached by a man named Jairus, who's a synagogue leader. And Jairus's 12-year-old daughter is at home dying. He asked Jesus to please come quickly. I know you have the healing power to save my daughter. Well, as they are traveling there, Jesus has an encounter with another person, but this encounter was kind of below the crowd. A woman who had been plagued with a bleeding disorder, a condition that she had dealt with for most of her life. She made her way through the crowd and just touched a piece of Jesus's outfit, and she was healed. Now, Jesus, questioning the crowd, eventually got this woman to admit, but fearfully. She, in fear, she admitted her actions to Jesus, and he replied, "Your faith has healed you. Now go in peace." Now, during all of these things that are happening, I told you a whirlwind. Jairus' daughter does pass away. They don't make it in time. But Jesus looks at Jairus and he says, "Don't be afraid. She's just asleep." And people laughed at Jesus for saying that. They laughed at the thought that Jesus would mention someone dead being asleep. They laughed until she woke up and lived. When we look at these scenarios of what's happening, we see Jesus tell the first man, "Go and tell people what happened." We see him say nothing in particular to the woman who was healed about sharing, but he tells her to go in peace. But then he tells Jairus' family to not tell anybody about what happened. It makes me wonder why he may have said that, but it also makes me question, what is it about Jesus that I might be afraid of, that you might be afraid of? What is it about Jesus that causes our faith to grow? And what is it about Jesus that we have some doubts that need addressed? Because faith might be enough for some people to trust the life change transformation in Jesus. But for those who experience fear or doubt, what I love about these stories, is that when it comes to Jesus and life change, sometimes the facts, they just speak for themselves. Consider what your next step in faith, addressing fear, or landing in the facts about Jesus could be today.